I'm from 90 minutes away-ish, depending on the traffic. And I remember coming to Sparks game as a kid, and my mom would take me, and I'm just super grateful. There is a level of intensity and work ethic that I do bring to the table, but really just I'm grateful for this opportunity to show that being one of the best players.
Kelsey Plum officially joined the LA Sparks, making it clear her departure from the Las Vegas Aces was a decisive move. In her first press conference, she subtly but pointedly criticized her former team's decline.
Had some say over where you wound up as a result of this trade, and you chose the Sparks. What sold you on LA?
The vision. There's a ton of talent in the front court. Obviously, I have a history playing with De'Erica, whom I love, so that was a big part, but also just coach's vision, you know, new coach, new GM, new philosophy, and to be honest, opportunity to lead, opportunity to be one of the best players in the league at a different level and a different scale, and just kind of been chomping at the bit. So preparation, I've been playing high-level basketball for a long time, but it's an opportunity to take it.
5 key players have left the Las Vegas Aces, sparking controversy surrounding A.A. Wilson and Becky Hammond. What went wrong in Vegas? Why are top players leaving? Is Kelsey Plum hinting at deeper issues within the Aces locker room? Today, we break down the shocking fallout, Plum's pointed comments, and the potential impact on the WNBA.
You're a proven scorer in the WNBA, but it sounds like you got something to prove running the point. Is that why is that? Why does that register with you the way that it has in the comments that you made?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like, I know I've always been able to play make, but my team and like the positions I've been put in, I've played the two. I played off the ball. I played, you know, a lot of, you know, catch and shoot and things like that. But for me, I can put it on the floor, and I know that, you know, the opportunity to have the ball in my hands a little bit more and make plays is something that I'm very excited about. But I know I have and I've worked on. You know, I said it earlier at the press conference that people forget I played the.
You're a proven scorer in the WNBA, but it sounds like you've got something to prove running the point. Is that why those comments resonated with you? Why does it hit like that? Yeah, for me, I've always been able to play make. People tend to forget that, but the positions I've been in on my past teams have mostly been off the ball. I've played the two, been in catch and shoot situations, and handled less of the ball. But
Two-time champion. So you're a very proven commodity in the WNBA. So you're going to be counted on to provide leadership. How do you convey leadership to a young team?
I think it's just about consistency, and I think showing up every day. And I remember when I was young, as a rookie, just seeing pros, vets show up consistently and perform, right? And there's no, you know, you can't have an off day when you're a leader, right? It's not about you. And so I think learning that through time, that's been something that I'm really excited to take here to LA. And I know that I'm a little bit of a different style. You know, we talked about it earlier back there. You know, I play with joy. I have a lot of flair to me, but you know, that's who I am, and that's kind of how I've always been. And so I'm gonna get.
The off-season has been full of surprises, but no one expected Kelsey Plum to make such a bold statement in her first press conference with the LA Sparks, when she said, "I've been treated better than I ever have as a WNBA player." Fans instantly knew she was taking a shot at her former team. This wasn't just an innocent remark about her excitement for a fresh start. It was a clear signal that things in Vegas weren't as perfect as they appeared.
It's not going to be an easy road. I know that this is, I probably took the path of most resistance. But that's what's exciting to me, because that's what I've always done, and I've always flourished in that. So it's like the hotter the fire, you know, the brighter the diamond.
When that ball goes up in the air against the Aces, is there going to be a little something extra there for you?
I mean, there's some extra at the pickup game we had today. So, so for me, if anything, there's just love. I'm super grateful for the time that I've had.
As a 3-time All-Star and 2-time champion, you're a proven commodity in the WNBA, and you'll be counted on to provide leadership. How do you convey leadership to a young team? I think leadership is all about consistency. It's showing up every day and giving your best. I remember when I was a rookie, just watching the veterans and pros show up consistently and perform, no matter what. You realize that as a leader, there's no room for an off day. You can't afford it because it's not about you. That's something I've learned over time, and something I'm excited to bring to LA. I know I have a different style. We talked about it earlier. I play with joy and bring a lot of flair to the game. But that's just who I am, and it's how I've always played. I think leadership comes in different forms, and that's mine. I'm going to continue to bring that energy and passion to this team and lead by example, bringing the same excitement every day.
For Becky, playing with Asia, playing with Chelsea, playing with Jack, I could go down the line of so many players that I played with, obviously winning championships and having great memories, but more than that, just really the ability to be able to develop. You know, I think there was a time where I was coming off the bench, right? And there was a time where, you know, it was a little bit of uncertain about my future in terms of where I could be in this league. And so for me to get that opportunity and to be able to win at that level, I'm grateful. So there's no, you know, anything like that, but life, there's a new chapter and we're here and I'm ready.
Kelsey Plum's recent comments have only added to the growing mystery surrounding her departure from the Las Vegas Aces. She didn't just express happiness about joining the LA Sparks. She stated, "I've been treated better than ever before." This comment strongly suggests that something was wrong in Vegas, something behind the scenes that made Plum want out. One of the leading theories is that Aya Wilson's increasing dominance may have overshadowed other stars. There's no doubt that Wilson is the face of the Aces, a two-time MVP, a superstar, and the heart of the franchise. But could her presence have made it challenging for other players to shine? Plum has always been known for her vocal leadership, intensity, and confidence. Yet despite her impressive stats, averaging 17.8 points, 4.2 assists, and 2.6 rebounds per game, she was never quite seen as the star of the Aces. With Wilson leading the charge and Chelsea Gray running the offense, Plum's role may have felt limited. In LA, things are different. The Sparks are in rebuilding mode, looking for a player to take charge. Plum now has the chance to be the leader and the face of the franchise, a role she has long craved. She even expressed in her press conference that she has been chomping at the bit for this opportunity. But her desire for a bigger role is just one piece of the puzzle. There are also serious concerns about how the Aces are being run as an organization. For starters, the team's front office is in disarray. They fired General Manager Natalie Williams months ago and still haven't hired a replacement. For a championship-level team, that's almost unheard of. A franchise without a GM is like a ship without a captain, directionless. Who's making the big decisions? Who's negotiating contracts, building the roster, and setting the long-term vision? It's unclear, and this lack of leadership could be contributing to the instability within the team. Rumors are swirling that head coach Becky Hammond wants to take on the dual role of head coach and general manager. While Hammond is an outstanding coach, should she really be responsible for the front office decisions too? Taking on both roles is a massive workload, and it could be an indication that the Aces are struggling to find the right leadership. Then there's the controversy surrounding Dearica Hamby. The former Aces player filed a complaint against the team, alleging mistreatment after announcing her pregnancy. The WNBA took her claims seriously enough to fine the Aces $500,000 and strip them of their 2025 first-round draft pick, one of the harshest penalties in league history. This controversy paints the Aces in a very negative light and raises significant questions about the culture within the organization. If the team could mistreat a veteran player like Hamby, how are they treating others? Could this be a factor in why players like Kelsey Plum decided to leave? On top of that, the Aces are currently under investigation by the WNBA regarding salary cap violations. The league is looking into whether the Aces provided undisclosed benefits to players, essentially paying them outside of their contracts. If the investigation finds evidence of this, the Aces could face even more severe penalties. This adds to the sense of turmoil surrounding the franchise and further suggests that there are deep-rooted issues within the organization. These various issues, lack of front office leadership, the Hamby controversy, salary cap investigations, are painting a picture of a franchise in crisis. The Aces, once a dream destination for WNBA players, are now losing talent left and right. Meanwhile, in stark contrast, the Indiana Fever are on the rise. For years, the Fever were one of the worst teams in the league. They struggled to attract talent, suffered numerous losing seasons, and appeared stuck in an endless rebuild. But all that is changing. The turning point came when they drafted Caitlin Clark, the most exciting prospect in years. Clark is a generational talent, and her arrival has already started to shift the perception of the Fever. Suddenly, Indiana is seen as a desirable destination for players. But it's not just about Clark. The Fever have been making smart roster moves, bringing in experienced veterans like Natasha Howard, Dewana Bonner, and Sophie Cunningham. They're not just aiming to be competitive, they're building a championship contender. And the best part, players want to be there. That's the biggest difference between the Fever and the Aces right now. The Fever are creating a positive team culture, a place where players feel valued and excited about the future. The Aces, on the other hand, are losing trust. Kelsey Plum's comments weren't just about her excitement for a fresh start. They were a signal that something is deeply wrong in Vegas. The Aces have gone from being a powerhouse team to one that is rapidly losing its foundation. With leadership questions, internal controversy, and the threat of more penalties looming, the Aces' future is uncertain. Meanwhile, the Fever are emerging as a new force, building a team culture where players want to stay and compete. Could the Aces' loss be the Fever's gain? Time will tell. But one thing is clear. The balance of power in the WNBA may be shifting. Kelsey Plum's comments were not just a personal expression of excitement. They were a warning sign, a message to the rest of the league that things in Vegas aren't as perfect as they seem. If the Aces don't address their internal issues and rebuild trust with their players, this dynasty could be over before it even fully takes off. The scariest part for Aces fans? This may just be the beginning. If Kelsey Plum is speaking out now, who's next? Will more former players begin to reveal what really happened behind the scenes? And could other WNBA stars start avoiding Vegas as a free agent destination? The Aces are on the brink of losing everything they've built. If they don't make changes fast, they may never recover. Plum's words marked the first sign of trouble, but the ongoing fallout from the offseason is proving that something is seriously wrong within the organization. The reigning WNBA champions should be preparing for another title run, but instead, they're scrambling to fill roster spots while battling internal chaos. The biggest question on everyone's mind is, what went wrong? In Part 1, we discussed Plum's eye-opening comments about feeling better treated in LA than she ever did in Vegas. We also covered the mass exodus of players, the dysfunction in the Aces front office, and the growing rumors of internal tension. But there's still more to uncover. And the deeper we dig, the more it becomes clear. The Aces dynasty is unraveling faster than anyone anticipated. Let's take a closer look at Aya Wilson. She's the heart and soul of the Aces, a two-time MVP, a dominant force on the court, and the face of the franchise. But with great power comes great responsibility. Could Wilson's leadership be contributing to the tension within the team? Some are now questioning if Aya Wilson's leadership, or perhaps the lack of a balanced approach, is part of the reason so many players are leaving. There's no doubt that Wilson is one of the most respected and talented players in the league. But could her rising stardom have been overshadowing her teammates during the Aces championship runs? Everything revolved around Wilson, and while that's not necessarily a bad thing, she's an elite talent and the team built around her. It can cause tension when other stars feel like their contributions aren't valued. This sense of imbalance might explain Kelsey Plum's departure more clearly. Plum has always been a fierce competitor, a player who thrives on intensity and leadership. Yet in Vegas, she was never the primary leader. That role belonged to Wilson. Even when Plum was performing at an elite level, she was still seen as the secondary star, someone who complemented Wilson rather than leading in her own right. Now, with the LA Sparks, Plum has a fresh start, a chance to take on a bigger role, and more importantly, a chance to step out from Wilson's shadow. Her comments about feeling more valued in LA weren't just about the organization. They were about her role as a player. She's finally in a position where she can lead in her own right, and Plum isn't the only one who felt this way. Sydney Colson's departure was another major loss for the Aces, not because of her stats, but because of her impact in the locker room. Colson was Wilson's best friend and one of the team's biggest energy boosters. Yet, even she chose to leave. That's a major red flag. If Wilson's closest friend on the team didn't want to stay, what does that say about the team's culture? It suggests a disconnect within the locker room, and that the leadership dynamic may have left some players feeling sidelined or underappreciated. This situation highlights a key issue for the Aces, While they've built a team around Wilson's talent, the focus on one player can sometimes alienate others. Wilson is undoubtedly an elite player, but when a team system is built solely around one star, it can make it difficult for other players to feel valued or to take on leadership roles of their own. This is a pattern that has led to the exodus of key players, including Plum, who now has the opportunity to flourish in LA with a more prominent role. In contrast, the Indiana Fever's off-season moves are designed to avoid this very issue. Caitlin Clark, widely regarded as one of the most exciting prospects in recent years, will enter the league with significant expectations. While her offensive skill set is perfectly suited for the WNBA, she will face challenges adjusting to the physicality and defensive pressure at this level. In college, Clark often benefited from the benefit of officiating that favored her slight contact, but in the pros, defenders will be tougher, and referees tend to let more physicality slide. She'll need to adjust to a more physical style of play and learn how to handle increased defensive pressure. However, Indiana's off-season moves make it clear they've thought ahead to help Clark thrive. One of the key factors in Clark's success will be having Aaliyah Boston controlling the paint. Boston's presence in the post ensures that defenses can't entirely focus their attention on Clark, allowing her the space to operate more freely. In addition, having a proven scorer like DeWanna Bonner alongside Clark will ease the pressure on her to be the primary offensive weapon every single game. Bonner's veteran experience will allow Clark to learn how to balance her offensive game while taking some of the load off her shoulders. Moreover, the Fever's approach to developing young players is vastly different from previous seasons. The team isn't just drafting talented players and hoping for the best. They're creating a system that supports their stars and helps them succeed. Experienced players like Bonner, as well as the leadership of Coach, will teach Clark how to navigate the physicality of the WNBA, how to pace herself during the long season, and how to adjust to varying defensive schemes. That's what sets this Fever team apart from past young teams who struggled to develop their stars. They're building a culture where young players can grow and thrive. Instead of relying on individual brilliance, they are fostering an environment where team success is built on a collective effort. This is the blueprint for long-term success. They're not just trying to build a contender, they're creating a sustainable winning culture. Meanwhile, the Aces, with their internal struggles, are facing a potential collapse of their once dominant dynasty. If they don't address their issues, particularly in how they balance leadership and value contributions across their roster, they risk losing more key players and may never return to their previous level of dominance. It's a stark contrast to the direction the Fever are headed, and one that could ultimately shape the future of both franchises. Indiana Fever has been making waves with their improvement, but they're stepping into a league full of dominant teams. While the Fever has made significant strides, they still have some major obstacles ahead, especially with teams like the Las Vegas Aces and New York Liberty, who have established powerhouse rosters. Let's break down how Indiana matches up with the WNBA's top teams. Las Vegas Aces ***. The Aces remain the team to beat, with a championship core of Aya Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, and Jackie Young. This back-to-back title-winning team boasts one of the most potent offenses in the league. Though they lost some depth in free agency, their experience, chemistry, and elite talent still make them the favorites. For Indiana to compete with Vegas, they'll need to prove they can defend elite perimeter scorers, as the Aces will challenge their defense on every possession. New York Liberty ***. Another super team in the league, built around Breanna Stewart, Jonquil Jones, and Sabrina Ionescu. The Liberty are deep, versatile,